Anybody who's ever watched sports knows the biggest attraction is obviously the refs.
Both guys, 5 each for fighting.
Personal foul, 69, offense. He was giving them the business.
But besides serving hot looks, what are they actually doing out there? That's what we're going to find out. Hi, my name is Matt Spetter. I've been a football official in Edmonton for 17 years, and I'm very excited to be working with Football Canada to give you guys a little peek at what we're doing on field. Okay, look, I get it. I know I'm in a very small minority of nerds that actually likes to watch what the officials are doing during a game. And honestly, that's fine. It's not about us. Fans want to come out, watch the teams compete in a clean, competitive, fun, and safe environment. And really, it's just our jobs as officials to make sure that that happens. At the end of the day, the best job that we can do is to go completely unnoticed. But since I've already got your attention, hopefully, I'm going to take you through a quick walkthrough of what you might encounter on a normal Friday night high school football game. So, like most sports, the number of officials you're going to see involved in any given game is going to depend on a lot of factors like the number of players involved, the level of competition, and frankly, the number of people in a given area that are actually interested in officiating amateur sports. The difference with football is that unlike soccer or baseball or hockey or basketball, where you might see 1 to 2 officials involved in a game at the local level and 3 to 4 at the highest levels, we need as many eyes on the play as we can. The fact that we're working in a larger field with more players involved and players that are generally interested in committing felony assault against each other whenever they get the opportunity means we need bigger crews. The fewest you're typically going to see in any given game is going to be 3, and it goes up to as high as 7 in the pros and upper levels of amateur football, or 8 if you're really into NCAA. Most common alignment you're likely to see in a youth or high school football game is probably going to be a 4 or 5 official crew. But who are these striped heroes? And what are they called? And what do they do? Well, sit back and relax, and I will do my best to make it all make sense. First official we're going to meet is the referee. This is the person you're probably most likely familiar with, as they tend to stick out from the rest of the crew because of their gaudy white hats and their love of the camera. Referees are also probably the most popular officials on the crew, as everybody out there seems to know and love to chant their names at any given opportunity. Referee is the crew chief, the boss, big cheese, whatever you want to call them. They're the ultimate authority on the field. They've got the final say in all matters. They're also the primary point of communication between officials, players, coaches, everybody else. From pregame meetings with coaches, to the opening coin toss, to announcing penalties, to twirling their flag in the air at the end of the game, everything runs through the referee. On a normal play, you'll find the referee here in the offensive backfield, typically towards the wide side of the field. The referee has a lot of administrative duties to perform, including ruling on and signaling upcoming downs, talking with team captains, announcing penalties, starting the game and play clocks, etc. With the exception of kickoffs, the referee is the only official who can start the clock throughout the game. Once it's started, they'll shift their focus to the offensive line and the quarterback. Referee splits the line of scrimmage with the umpire and helps to rule on formations, illegal procedure, and blocking by linemen, watching particularly for things like illegal holds and low blocks. The referee is also the primary official responsible for protecting the quarterback and will follow them from sideline to sideline if need be to ensure that any unscrupulous defenders do not take a free shot at them when they're in a vulnerable position. Referees are also responsible for protection of punters, kickers, ruling on short field goals and converts, adjudicating penalties, ruling on yards gained, and are generally responsible for the crew as a whole. Second position we're going to talk about is the umpire, aka the best and most important position on the field, bar none. Or at least that's what I tell myself because I always end up working there. Really, I think that they just put big dudes like me in there because we're going to be in the line of fire and we're most likely to survive getting hit and get back up and be able to keep doing the game. The most important job of an umpire is game management, and it's what separates good umpires from great umpires. While the referee is running the game, the umpire has to run the crew, making sure everybody's where they need to be, when they need to be there, from before the game, making sure that the referee is out in time to get the meetings with the coaches, to making sure that the sideline guys are getting their teams, to making sure that everybody's in position when we need to shift coverages for punts or field goals or anything like that. The umpire sets the pace, makes sure the ball's spotted on every play, is constantly communicating with the referee what the upcoming situations are, and generally making sure that everything is running smoothly. Unlike in the pros, at this level you'll still find the umpire right in the middle of the action, posting up here in the defensive backfield about 8 to 10 yards off the line of scrimmage. Like the referee, the umpire is also watching for legal formations, procedure, holding, etc., as well as linemen going downfield illegally before rotating with and hopefully staying out of the way of the play and moving downfield with it. Umpires are also responsible for splitting kickoff coverage with the back umpire, ruling on illegal contact against long snappers on punts and field goals, and generally ruling on whatever happens in the middle of the field, as they're often the ones closest to the pile of bodies at the end of each play. Up next, two positions that are really just one, or maybe one position that's really two, are line of scrimmage officials, aka the down judge, formerly known as head linesman, and the line judge. These two Ps will take their respective spots in the pod on the line of scrimmage opposite each other on the sidelines. The duties of the two positions are functionally identical, and the coverages that they'll have will flip-flop in between them depending on how the play develops. The down judge has the added responsibility of coordinating our beloved stick crews, but otherwise, they're basically the same, and so we tend to lump them together when we describe them. Setting up on the sidelines, the first thing the line of scrimmage officials do is control team substitutions, aka raising the gates. This lets the benches know that the time to substitute has passed, and if you find yourself with only 11 players on the field, you better be prepared to play short, take a timeout, or subject yourself to a 10-yard penalty for illegal substitution. Once the teams are lined up, the sideline officials will check to make sure that the offense has an eligible receiver on the end of the line and that the 1-yard neutral zone beyond the line of scrimmage is being respected. They're responsible for ruling on offside by either team at the snap, actions by and against receivers, and tend to be primarily responsible for the ball carrier, especially when the play moves to their side of the field. The sideline official on the short side of the field is referred to as the free official and will typically start moving downfield on the snap, especially if the play reads like a pass, in order to provide deep downfield coverage. The wide side or held official will maintain their position on the line of scrimmage, watching the receivers in their area and making sure that they're in a spot to rule on a potential forward pass thrown from beyond the line of scrimmage. Sideline officials are responsible for ruling on all passes in their area, forward progress of the ball carrier, blocking, screens versus lateral passes, and just about anything else that comes their way. They'll also move downfield or under the uprights to help cover punts and field goals respectively. The responsibilities are numerous and fluid, and the down judge and line judge work as a tandem to provide goal line to goal line coverage of their respective sidelines. Okay, last but not least, we've got the person that turns our 4 official crew into a 5 official crew, the always important but not so cleverly named back umpire. Positioned deep in the defensive backfield on the wide side of the field, back umpire is an incredibly important position to have, especially once you get to the level where teams start to really develop their passing game. So the back umpire is going to be the downfield quarterback in all situations, determining who's covering what in any given instant on kickoffs, punts, field goals, and which sideline official is going to be held and who's going to be free at the start of each play. They're going to have primary coverage on all the receivers to their side of the field, especially those running deep routes, and they're constantly on the lookout for legal tactics by both teams. They're responsible for the goal line and or dead ball line if they're threatened, and they have the added burden of trying to keep everything in front of them, so speed is a huge benefit. They'll also take primary coverage of the receivers on all kick plays and watch for blocking fouls by the receiving team after the ball's been caught. While officials working games at an extremely high level might specialize in only 1 or 2 positions, at the local level it's not uncommon for everybody to work all of these positions multiple times throughout the season. As such, it's critical that everybody's rule knowledge and mechanics are up to date and everybody knows their positions inside and out. If one person doesn't know what they're doing, the whole crew can fall apart. I'm lucky enough to work with dozens of highly qualified and competent officials every year and get the best vantage point you can imagine for 70 plus games a season, and I love every second of it. I hope you enjoyed this and maybe learned a thing or two, and just maybe You'll have a little bit more knowledge and be a little bit kinder to your friendly neighborhood football official in the future. Thanks to Football Canada for the opportunity, and I hope we get to do more stuff like this in the future. If you have any questions or you're interested in becoming an official at any point, you can check out Football Canada's website, reach out to Canadian Football Officials Association, or you can get in touch with me through Edmonton Football Officials at efoa.ca or on Instagram at Edmonton Football Officials.